Andy Lee versus Billy Joe Saunders, the WBO World Middleweight Championship, December 19th at the Manchester Arena. Tickets on sale now at frankwarren.com. Or to watch on TV, subscribe at Box.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for Rifle TV in association with Macklin's Gym. With me I've got still WBO.
Forgot, no, just that.
What happened?
Oh, go on, I'm resting, no problem.
Still, I don't know what happened there. WBO light middleweight champion Liam Smith. First of all, was Jimmy Kelly a tougher opponent than you expected?
No, I always knew. I said he'd be very competitive for 6 or 7. I don't know that it was to you, KUGAN, but I knew because he's a good fighter. He's only 23 years of age. Joe knew he's a good fighter, you know, for himself. But I just knew he weren't ready for me just yet, and I don't mean that in in a big headed way. And I had to say the things I said because a lot of people, if I keep getting told, it's an easy fight for you, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. If I start thinking it, you come unstuck against people like that. So I had to get myself mentally right. And that's why I'd done the things and I said the things that I said because I needed to get up for that fight or I'd come unstuck.
I mean, you said the things that you said in the build-up, but you never took away that Jimmy Kelly was given the opportunity to fight you for a world title. He's 16-0 before the fight, so he was always going to take it, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. And like I said, to be honest with you, I don't think they would have took that fight if it was for the defence of my British title. I think like other people did do, they'd have waited till I moved on. But it was a world title fight, the domestic fighter in his home city, so he had to take it really. And I know why he took it because he can come again. He's 23 years of age. But like I say, I think a couple of sickening shots. To be honest with you, KUGAN, before I felt the jabs was sickening him and that. And like sometimes there's a time and a place to say no.
Let's talk about the end of the 7th round. Obviously, before. You alright?
No. I am now.
You're alright, pulling the wraps off. In the 7th round, towards the end, obviously before the actual stoppage, there was a moment there where Jimmy Kelly stumbled towards the ropes. It was kind of a delayed reaction from the punch, but it was given a no knockdown, wasn't it?
It was 100% a knockdown. He was leaning over, hit him with a couple of uppercuts. It was like a delayed reaction, when he come, he sagged his ropes and then went. I don't know that he chose to, but it was 100% a knockdown. I was quite shocked that I've never give it, but maybe the next thing that happens shows it was a knockdown.
Simultaneously, the referee brought the contest to a halt, and the corner was chucking the towel in at the same time. So, they obviously believe that.
I just think it was too many shots, clean shots in the end, started getting through. Say the jabs were in half, just straight down the pipe. And my brothers have said to me, you neglected your jab a little bit, but I didn't half enjoy your KUGAN. It was a little bit. I don't know, but the things that where I enjoy that Joe will bollock me for some of the stuff I've done wrong, but I was always comfortable with his power in there and that.
Was this an ideal first defence for you, looking back on it now?
Maybe on paper, yeah. It's what every champion goes and does. First defence. I took a bit of unfair stick, to be honest with you. And I didn't pick that fight, and that's why I was kind of aggressive and. I got a bit of stick saying, why are you being disrespectful to him? You picked him, and I thought I never picked him. But it was what the team come up with, so we agreed. It was only what was on the table for 5 weeks' notice, so I understand. And being realistic, that's the fight you should have. You pick someone in the top 10 rankings, he's number 8 in the rankings. So I don't make the rankings. People are giving me stick. I don't make the rankings, so it probably was a fair event, but like I say now. There's talks with other domestic fighters and stuff. I didn't become world champion to carry on fighting domestic fights. I said this to you the other day. I want decent names now.
I will ask you about Liam Williams, who won your old British title tonight with a 2nd round knockout of Chris Carslow. Did you manage to see any of it?
No, I got told about it, but I don't really want to go into the Liam Williams situation. I can say what I need to say about him, but he's just won a British title and combat title, what I won 2 years ago, so he's 2 years behind me.
So obviously planning ahead for 2016, you went a week saying that this will be sort of the domestic world title fight that you'll have. You'll be looking to capture one of these names. You'll be mentioning the Cottos, the Laras, the Mosleys. Are you confident one of them will be your next fight?
I don't know. I'll leave that to the team because maybe I think Austin Trout could be my mandatory. That's going to be April, so that could be my next fight. But if I choose to fight February, I might be able to get another volunteer. I say I'm going to see how I feel this week. I've had 2 hard camps back to back. You know, I've had no holiday. I cancelled Vegas to win the title. Now, you know, I'm going away for New Year, so I'm going to go on that New Year one, and then I'm probably make a decision how I feel next week.
Obviously, to secure yourself some of these huge fights with these huge names, are you prepared to travel over to America?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to. You know, I'd love to travel to America. Yeah, definitely. That's the next goal. You know what I mean? That's the next aim now. I've won a world title, and you know, I'd love. Mate, thanks, mate. Thanks very much, mate. Thanks very much, mate. Thank you. I'd love to. Thanks, mate. That's the next goal. You know, maybe go to Liverpool. That's what I mean. I try and go to about the February one. You know, I might be a little bit horrible here and say, I hope Terry or Flanagan get injured and he gets put back a few weeks. We can go on it.
What an horrible thing is that?
No, I'm only messing. No, I don't. I wish them both the best of luck. You know what I mean? I think that's a tough fight. So, no, but I'd love to. I haven't been back to Liverpool since I've been world champion. I won it here and I defended it here. So that's the thing I'd love. But you know, most of all, I'd love to go to America. That's the pinnacle, really.
All right, well, Liam, listen, great win tonight. Congratulations on retaining your world title, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks very much, mate. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Cheers, Liam.
Andy Lee versus Billy Joe Saunders, the WBO World Middleweight Championship, December 19th at the Manchester Arena. Tickets on sale now at frankwarren.com, or to watch on TV, subscribe at BoxNation.com.